breakouts of a massive week and weekend of football. I can't do this without my co-host, Jamie the J-Dog Wallace, the absolute superstar who is going to break news and reviews every single week here on the show. I'm Chris Pepper, the 377-game superstar, and I cannot do the show without you listeners, and you can't have your weekly dose of lace-out goodness without Peps and the J-Dog. Before we get into it all, I have to welcome him on board. He was ranked number 9 in the world in Ironman for his age group. He constantly says that never happened, but in our minds, it did. Jamie, how are you, big fella?
I'm good, Peps. I'm good. Peps, there's a big occasion happening in the Pepper household tonight.
It is a massive house. Yes, massive. And it's not the Jack Viney result, which we'll get into very, very shortly. Mm-hmm. It is the Beauty and the Geek finale. It is on. It is as we have gone to live. I've sacrificed the finale for the listeners. That's how committed I am to the number 1 non-club affiliated podcast this side of the Westgate Bridge, lace out, because it's how you want.
You are embodying Jude Bolton's inspirational words at the start of the year that we said we were going to follow. Hearts and minds.
Hearts and minds. Hearts and minds. So, buddy, what have we got on the show tonight? Because it has been a massive week and weekend of footy. What have you got for us tonight?
Well, for the people who have joined us new to the show, we have got our weekend wrap-up. We talk about what we got up to. We're going to look at the ladder, spin the magnets, the rising star, around the grounds, splash the cash, injury updates, listen to question, and then 1 week at a time. So, big show, but let's get stuck into it, Peps. Now, you and I are cut from the same cloth, Peps. Can we agree on that one there?
We are certainly cut from the live cloth. Same cloth.
Loincloth. The loincloth.
The loincloth.
We do not want to get in trouble with Peter on this show. We don't want to be cutting up loins or lions or whatever you said originally. Mm-hmm. Olympics, was that just your weekend? Just watching the Olympics?
I was trying to figure out, why is everybody watching the Olympics? What do we love about the Olympics? And it simply comes down to this, I reckon. All the best sports, top of the food chain athletes, night after night, hour after hour. It is just an extravaganza. It's like you don't even have to flick the channel. If I want to watch judo, I'll flick the app. If I want to watch karate, if I want to go and watch men's diving, I will. If I want to watch beach volleyball in the skimpy outfits, I can. And they're going to be the best of the best. There is nothing better. I love it.
The best. Mwah. It is the grand final of all grand finals for me, Peps. It's 4 years or whatever it is, 5 years this time around with COVID. And you're right. That you are looking at the ultimate athletes duking it out for a little bit of gold, a little bit of silver, a little bit of bronze. I love it.
And you can't get better. Like you think of all the classic sports that have dominated the Olympics over the last week.
Yeah.
Freestyle biking, skateboarding.
Yeah, that can
3-on-3 basketball.
Yeah, that can leave too.
Hasn't that just captured the minds and the imaginations?
No, you're right.
Just like Turkey said all those years ago.
Yeah.
It's been great. It's been great. The swimming's been awesome. The athletics, I love the athletics.
Yeah.
It's just everything, mate. I don't know what it is. It's just something about the Olympics that just turns us into experts.
Yeah, and that was my weekend, basically watching the Olympics and playing a couple of games of hockey over the weekend as well. So that was my weekend.
Played a couple of games of hockey, did you?
Yeah. What about you? What did you up to, Peps?
Not much, mate. Couldn't do much due to COVID. Took the dog for a walk.
Yeah.
Took it about a 25K walk down to East Keilor. Happened to be a local football game on at the same time. And so
convenient.
I just happened to have a bit of a look. Lost the dog and stayed and watched the footy for a bit too. But outside of that, watched the D's have a great win on Sunday against the Gold Coast Witches Hats. But besides that, it's just football, mate. Football and sport. Life does not get better than what we've got going.
It doesn't. It doesn't. All right, Peps.
People are suffering from COVID. If we could just, once again, we say it every week, if we could just take a little bit of the COVID travesty that we're all going through at the moment, just a little bit, and just put a smile on your face for around about 58.5 minutes.
Exactly right.
We've done our job.
All right, Peps. It's time to bring up the ladder and talk about who's ups, who are the firemen, and who are the Molly Meldrums.
All righty. So let us get up the ladder. Righty-o. Okay. So it's as simple as this. The top 8. We're going to get into that when we get to spin the magnets in a moment, because I don't think there are teams that still want to actually lock in a spot on the final. Goodness gracious. Just when you think you could snatch a spot, you just throw it away. The Doggies and the Cats, equal points at the top. The D's are 2 points underneath. Massive percentage booster. And it's not going to be really needed at this point of the year. It's going to be all about the points.
Yep.
Port Adelaide, did they beat a top 8 team on the weekend?
Technically, no.
We've also got the Swans. They are just sneaking, aren't they? They're just sneaking at the end of the bed, and they're going to jump and they're going to pounce on the top 4. Brisbane Lions, they're shot. They're done for the season. Wet toast. What did they serve up on the weekend? Oh, shocking. And Fremantle, Are they the real deal from Perth? I don't think so, but there is something beautiful cooking over there. They are on 36 points. Let's go through some teams.
Mm-hmm.
GWS, you'll fail. Essendon, you'll fail. Richmond, you'll fail. Carlton, we can smell what you're cooking. They're only a game out. St Kilda, you'll fail. These teams had a chance to take a position in the top 8 on the weekend, J-Dog, and they just went, we don't want it. We don't want it. Give it to Freo.
Do you want to take care of the Firemen's this week or take care of the Molly Meldrums? Because I will take one or the other.
I reckon we should bring on I'll bring on the Mollies, all right?
All right. I'll talk about the Firemen's first.
You talk about the Firemen's.
Okay, so this week we had some movers. So Sydney up to 5th. Freo moved into the 8, as Pep said. Who wants that 8 position? No one at the moment, it appears. Giants moved into... Oh, no, sorry, Giants are down. I got that one wrong. Carlton up to 12th, and then Collingwood up to 14. Big win for Carlton. Nice little win for Collingwood against, as Pep said, the Wet Toast. And they are the Firemen's this week. Who are the Molly Meldrums, Pep?
Oh, the Molly Meldrums. Oh, we know. The Molly Meldrums, they're the ones that fall down the ladder. Lions have dropped to 6th. GWS have dropped to 9th. Essendon down to 10th. Richmond down to 11th. St Kilda dropped to 13th. And the Suns down to 15th. The Crows down to 16th. It's shocking, isn't it? Meth toast, wet toast, it's everything at the moment. Unbelievable. Yep. But I tell you what, the chat is starting to go nuts at the moment. A couple of people that we haven't seen for a few weeks, their team must have won on the weekend. Lee McKenzie is back. Having a go at the D's already. Good to see Hawthorn getting some success this year. Top club, Hawthorn. Hey, let's go and get rid of a 4-time premiership coach for a guy that potentially will be a complete flop. But you know what? We're a happy team at Hawthorn.
Do we have time for burnout at the end of the show?
Of course there's time for burnout at the end of the show.
All right. We'll go through everything first, then we'll talk about burnout. Because if Lee Mack's on the show, I'm going to talk about Formula One.
Yes, burnout. All right, J-Dog.
All right, mate.
It's time for the news of the round. And you know there's only one person.
Spin the magnets, my friend. Spin the magnets.
Want to spin the magnets?
Yeah.
Let's spin the magnets. All right, spin the magnets time. We're going rapid fire tonight. So for people who don't know what spin the magnets is, it's simply this. We give our 3 votes to some cracking performances over the weekend. But there's also people who are going to be dragged. And to help us out with that, we're going to go to our two favourite people. First of all, I reckon we start. Let's start with the good tonight. So I think it's time to start with a bit of 3 votes action. So just handing it over to our good mate, Mr. Demetrio. Can you help us out with that one, big fella?
3 votes.
What was that?
3 votes.
Rightio. 3 votes, J-Dog. Rightio. So I reckon there was a massive week of 3 voters across the weekend. Just some great stories to come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about great conversion is great football. Carlton, 18 goals for. Essendon, 16-6. Sydney, 17-7.
Yep.
Beautiful goal kicking is exciting football, and that's what we want to see. We don't want to see these minimalist scores, and we don't want to see these hoity-toity like Melbourne kicked 18 goals 20 against Gold Coast Witches hats. We don't want to see that. We want to see bags, and we want to see accurate kicking.
Yep.
And to see that conversion, Carlton was the one that blew me away. When I saw that, I had to look twice because there hasn't been weeks where Carlton have kicked 18 goals in total.
Mm-hmm.
They came out and they fired up and they turned it on our favourite mob. And I hope our friend Buzz is on tonight because they're going back to their old name when we go and drag them. They're coming back.
Peps.
Yes.
You've got a BBB kicking 4.
Oh, BBB, Big Benny Brown kicking 4. Look, it was against Gold Coast, all right? But it was the fact that he was able to get a bit of a score on the board. He was running around. He was contributing. They're the type of games you just get a bit of touch. That's all it was. It was good to see him come forward.
Not sure if it was 4 straight. Anyway.
Doesn't really matter if it was 4 straight. He kicked 4. I think that was the same as what Charlie Dixon kicked, didn't he?
Correct. But
Yeah.
how many did Benny Brown spray? Doesn't matter. Doesn't
really matter.
It's the positives. It's the positives.
It's the positive. And Lukey Jackson kicked 4 as well too. So
Lukey, yes, very, very strong. Yes, we've spoken about Lukey Jackson. Strong nomination. Who we think is a young superstar in the making.
No, don't throw. No, he's going to be a good player. Don't throw the superstar around. You only get the title of superstar.
If people who get paid
Brownlows or over 350 games.
Well, yep. All right, Lenny Hayes, superstar,
just a good bloke.
All right.
Didn't win a Brownlow.
No, Freo and Richmond.
Yeah, what a cracking game!
What a game!
What a game at the end. Freo and Richmond.
4 points.
It doesn't really matter. But Freo snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. Andrew Brayshaw willed them over the line.
Yeah.
And he will be their next captain.
Yep.
Now, it was spoken about on the radio a little bit too. Do you think that he's got a bit of Darcy Parish about him?
No, he's got Andrew Brayshaw about him.
No. Shield and Smith being out of the team means that Parish had to jump in.
Okay.
Flourished. No Fife. Brayshaw's had to go in. He's flourished.
Yeah, but Brayshaw's always had that about him.
Yes, I know.
Parish this year has been the one that's just stood up.
No,
stronger than a man. Stronger than a man on the blue pills.
Too long, J-Dog. Way too long. Okay, but it's just really nice to see them.
Just one little bonus one, Peps.
Mm-hmm.
We've spoken about him. You said he's never coming back. I said I love footy because of him. Charlie Curnow.
Oh, how many days out?
761 days.
J-Dog,
comes back.
You've done your maths, haven't you?
Just a little bit.
Did you get a little bit excited when he kicked his first goal?
How do you not love seeing him? Anything.
Oh, I'm just happy to see people who have come back from
Kuta Feed is Bontempelli. Big long name.
No.
Kuta Bontempelli?
No, but it was good to see
Kuta Pelly.
And it was good to see Carlton get a cracking win too against shit Kilda. They're back. There they are.
Oh,
my Kilda.
Goodness.
Oh, goodness. Haven't they drafted well over the preseason? And can I throw one more in here?
Sure, Peps.
You know when the sun shines over a dreary day?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can see the sun through the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Dorr coming forward and just talking about his challenges from his suicide. I only thought there was one attempt. Apparently had multiple attempts.
Yeah, right, okay.
Sleeping pills and then jumped off the Balti. And just to hear him coming out and hearing his side of things and what he was going through, massive eye-opener. It's actually got me I might have a crack at picking up his book as well too and have a bit of a read because if he's going to go into that, be probably a little eye-opener to see that it's not all dollar signs and roses on the AFL side of things. Might be worth a good read, but it's just good to see what he's gone through, coming back. He's over in Perth at the moment with the Ds, hopefully getting a game this week if Tommy Mack doesn't play.
Yeah.
It's either him or Wiedemann. I don't know who they're going to go with. Maybe give Jackson a rest, bring in Dorr as the backup ruckman.
Yeah.
We'll see. But, it was really nice to see something come out of that.
Very good. All right,
okay, Peps. Big man. Now, here's the other thing.
Okay.
We have to obviously celebrate the good stuff, but we're going to have to talk about the bad crap. And to help us out with the bad stuff, there's only one person that can help us out.
There is.
You know it's Big Ron. Where are you, Big Ron?
Haley off, Ellingworth on. Bloody weak as piss.
All right, Ron.
I don't know where to start, Peps, this week because I don't know.
You kick us off. You kick us off because it even started before the weekend of football began.
Look, let's just talk about it and we'll get it done and then we can talk about something else. Let's talk about the Meth Coast Eagles.
Meth Coast, Wet Toast, whatever you want to call them.
So, a soldier of the club, Shannon Hearn, celebrating his 300th game, comes up against...
player ever to play 300 games for West Coast.
Comes up against a, let's call it VFL level, Collingwood team. And they were pathetic.
Did you hear the theme song that they ran out to? Did you hear the theme song they ran out to?
No. Knew that was coming.
That is how bad they were.
Yeah.
What they kicked one goal before halftime?
Yeah.
takes a special type of team to do that. We did it in a prelim. But they were shocking.
Yeah.
Look, we're talking Collingwood, who really haven't said it a lot, but Robert Harvey seems to have taken the brakes off this mob. They've cut the reins and said, just go and play footy.
Yeah.
And they're doing it.
Yeah.
I just don't know what's going on. But with all that talent, are they too old? Are they too slow? They don't give a shit?
They just don't give a shit.
They realise that they don't, Nick Nat cannot do it all. Darling has done nothing for so long. Kennedy what's he gone to?
Yeah. Well,
Gaff?
Jack Darling, Gaff, Oscar Allen.
He's gone backwards. He was $1 million player at the start of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
show me the money.
I think Gaff's kicked like 11 or 13 goals in the last 14 rounds or 13 rounds or something. It's crazy.
It's out of control, mate. They've got issues big time. Is Simpson's game plan just not valid anymore? I don't know.
Yeah.
There's way too much to talk about.
Do you reckon they'll make the finals?
No.
Okay. All right. You reckon they're going to drop
They lose
out?
to Melbourne this week, and you can't look. I don't want to say it, but I will. I can't see them beating Melbourne this week if they turn up with what they did last week. But they're playing at home. They're playing at home, and that's my concern.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, geez, they're
all right. Well, let's talk.
Only 60-odd games ago, they won a flag.
Well, let's talk about it, Peps. Let's talk about the next one. One of your players, stupid.
It was Jack Viney is stupid. Mind you, he hadn't been playing that well either. I know he'd done some tagging roles, etc. But here's the thing, J-Dog. It was stupid. I just thought he was cleaning dirt off Sam Collins' neck with his elbow. Just trying to clean him up a little bit. That's all that was in it.
Yeah.
What annoys me is you got Selwood ripping eyeballs. You got Buddy throwing elbows.
Yeah.
Like this sort of stuff is happening week in, week out and getting nothing. And that
you've got Bailey Fritsch throwing elbows at people's faces as well and got nothing for it. Yeah, you're right. You are right.
Yeah, it's crap. I don't understand how they've come to this conclusion. It has to be only about the look. The guy wasn't injured. Didn't come off. The umpire didn't pay a free kick. There was no report, but they've said, that's worth 2 weeks. But if you throw an elbow and you're number 23 for the Swans...
It's a bit grubby.
It's grubby, but is it worth 2 weeks? What was worse? What he did or what Buddy did?
I don't play this what was worse game anymore with the AFL.
Because you know what? You don't want to admit it.
I just don't play it. It's a dumb game because we will end up in a 20-minute cycle about this.
No, we won't. Just say one or the other. Which was worse?
I think Jack Viney's looked worse.
Well, you're an idiot.
The guy was on the ground already.
Worse, but there was nothing in it. I reckon throwing elbows was worse.
Well, he was. It hurts when people sort of like jam your head into the ground. It does hurt.
Gaff broke Brayshaw's jaw and only got 6 weeks more than what he did.
We're not talking about something from 15 years ago now,
just saying, he got only 6 weeks more than what Viney did. Disgraceful.
All right, let's move on.
Disgraceful.
Look, I've got you worked up already. You're already worked up.
I'm bloody worked up.
West Coast are going to beat Melbourne this week, and then next week you're just going to lose your mind.
Doesn't matter. You playing a top 18 this week, J-Dog?
Get stuffed. Peps, let's probably talk about the biggest sort of bit of news coming into it, and we'll talk more about it in a second anyway. But the Clarkson contract.
Oh, Jesus.
Caro was right. Caro was right.
Now, I'm willing to put my hand up, and Caro, you were right. I was wrong. I actually thought he would stay, but when you got two egos as big as him and Mitchell, I just love the fact that the People's Club have just said, you know what? We're going to push the guy out. We've got to keep Mitchell. You guys panicked. Jeff Kennett panicked. Yep. And you've made a massive mistake. And I hope it comes to bite you on the ass. It couldn't have happened to a better club.
Yeah.
So Hawthorn, you reap what you sow. And all the senior players had a bit of a suki lala and went over to Richie. And then Richie went to Jeff and said, we're going to do something about this. And they did.
Yeah.
And you know what? Clarkson walks away with an extra $1 in his pocket.
Peps, yeah, that's one thing. Is definitely the cap crisis now.
Played them like a fiddle. I'm going to stay. You make the move. You kick me out.
Has he cleaned his drawers out as of now or end of the season?
He's still there. He's got 3 weeks.
3 weeks, okay.
Yep, 3 weeks. They won on the weekend, didn't they?
They had a good win on the weekend.
That's it. Kick out a winning coach. Good work.
It worked for Collingwood grand final.
Well, I'll tell you what,
premiers.
succession plans. Grand final coach, boot him out. You've stuffed up big time, Hawks. Big time.
Gold Coast. So
about
it does open up an interesting conversation now around all of this, and we're going to talk about the news a little bit further. Mm-hmm. But the Gold Coast, they just they put Adelaide it.
No, they really stunk up.
Yeah, they really stunk it up.
They were poo. There's crap. There's poo. There's ridiculous. And then go down another 4 levels and you might find what Gold Coast served up in the last 6 quarters of footy. Because don't also forget, they gave up 13 goals straight last week in the second half of a game. And then flowed into this week.
Yeah.
Something right up there. And it pains me. I've got a soft spot for them because I just want to see them do well because they've got plenty of talent. They just can't get it. And I just don't know if I don't think it's due. I don't think it's the players. I think it's just Gold Coast. Why would you want to play footy when you can surf and go to surfers every night? Play top
totally
golf.
Agree. All right, let's talk about let's change tact. Let's talk about some really good stuff. Peps, the young blokes in our competition. Mm-hmm. Who is this week's rising star, Peps?
Rising star for this week, my friend, is Hayden Young from the Fremantle Dockers. Eye-catching performance against Richmond. 23 disposals off half-pack at 91% efficiency. Picked them by 4 points in an absolute thriller. He was picked up at number 7 in the 2019 draft. Only managed 5 games last year. Has been going all right this year. Unfortunately, an ankle injury ended it. This year, played his first 3 games before suffering another serious ankle injury. Put him on the sidelines for 3 months, but he's come back, and it was his first game back, and he played an absolute corker. And I know the D's had their eye on him, and they went with Pickett instead. So I'm pretty happy with that. But yeah, he's going to be a bit of a gun, this bloke, I reckon. And you think they got him, Sarong, Brayshaw, Chera, if he decides to stay. We'll get about that when it splash the cash. Yeah. We've got a nice little nucleus there at the moment.
Not going bad.
And mind you, can I say something as well?
Sure.
I should have put this in besides Super Sunday. How good was it to see the white anchor flowing again on the jumper of the free?
Oh, that was good. Oh.
It looked good, didn't it?
It's a good jumper.
It's a good jumper.
I know.
Not as good as the Hawthorn Power Rangers job or your lightning bolt one.
That lightning bolt one's a piece of art.
Oh, it's a piece of poo.
I know it doesn't help him with the wankers with anchors sort of thing, but that is a good looking jumper.
Hey, you know what? If I was a wanker in an anchor and I looked that good in that jumper, pull away, boys, pull away.
Oh, you said that a few times in your lifetime.
No. That backfired.
All right, Peps, let's get into the news. Let's talk about Around the Grounds.
Around the Grounds. Now, for Around the Grounds this week, there's only one person who can take us through it. You know who he is. It's Jamie the J-Dog Wallace.
Rightio.
If you're a Tommy, Brown, Morris, bugger off. Hutchie, no chance, my friend. Who else do you want to throw out there? Eddie, Schmeddy. We've got J-Dog.
Well,
Over
Tom Brown has about as much credibility as I do, so that's equal.
But he gets paid a lot more than what you do.
It's true.
We just steal his reports anyway.
All right, Peps. The main man from Collingwood gone. Chris Mayne has announced his retirement at the end of the 2021 season. 245-game player across the Freo and Collingwood Football Club, set to turn 33 this year, and has said, my kids are at an age where I just want to kick back a little bit and head back to Perth with my family and my kids and do whatever comes next after that. So,
give him about 3 weeks of that, of being home with the kids, and he'll look and go, what an idiot.
Well, he's probably got a nanny or something, maybe. He's played 73 matches for Collingwood, including playing in their 2018 grand final team. Probably one of the most maligned players for a season or two there at Collingwood. Really got a hard time. Got dropped to the VFL quite a few times during his first season and a half. But really has come back and has been a real main staple of that Collingwood Football Club now since 2018. So
yeah, especially the first few. Oh, I remember when he first got drafted and then got such a long contract. They're like, why would you have signed him up for so long?
Yeah.
Yep. So.
Yep. So they got 2 young kids. They want to go back to Perth. That's where they're from. Well, that's where the family's from, and basically wants to continue his life over there. So
This came up too. Apparently, you have more credibility than me, J-Dog. That's understandable. You're a top guy, Jamie. You're the newsman.
That's not
understandable.
true.
Mate, he's got a point. Jamie has got some good credibility on this show. You got to listen to him. It's good that he's pointing out the obvious.
So Peps,
Mate, good on him. He deserves everything he gets. No, good on him. He's got the and how you know what? He's played footy all that time.
Yeah,
been through so much ridicule and still been able to keep those curls.
No,
he reminds me of the keyboard player from Bon Jovi. That's what he reminds me of when I see that bouncing lock.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate. Just drifted off trying to think.
Just drifted off, are you?
Yeah, just drifted off.
So Pep's probably not a bad time to leave it. I mean, Collingwood are going to go through some crap in the next few months. And if he was ever uncertain about his position, probably not a bad time to just call it stumps.
Well, now that Hawthorn have killed Clarkson's career, absolutely slaughtered him, threw him out, took the premierships and now got rid of him, just threw him to the curb. Would you go to Collingwood or would you go to Carlton? Even though the T train hasn't been derailed.
Oh, what are we talking about? We're going straight into the Hawthorn stuff, are we?
Not yet. I'm just thinking.
Okay. You're just thinking out.
Just thinking.
Good to see you're listening to the show here, Peps. Good to see you're in the room.
I'm in the room.
Okay, good. All right, Peps. A bit of news story here. Good story, bad story. I don't know how you view this person, but former Saints star Nick Dalsano is going to coach the club's AFLW team. This is good news, isn't it, Peps? Or you don't care?
I don't really care.
No.
Because all he'll do is talk about himself.
Really? Dear. Well,
all he will do is talk about himself.
Hey, look, well done to Peter Searle for 2 seasons at the head of the AFLW team, but Nick Dalsano has said he's going to step in. He's been involved in the Next Gen Academy program anyway, and he's going to get involved.
It takes agates to get up and coach a team.
Yeah, and to go back to St Kilda, especially after the way that they did a mass exodus there in 2013.
But he went to Victoria's version of Gold Coast, which is the Kangaroos for a retirement fund. So and he got an extra couple of finals out of it too. So I think he's got plenty to offer.
Yeah.
I just found it very much a surprise. You know, I'm throwing it out there to the St Kilda supporters. How will he go? You know more about Nicky Dell. Nick Dell Brownlow, as he was known for many, many years.
Wow.
How will he go as a coach? On the chat, let us know. Drop us a comment on the Facebook page. How you think
he has coaching? He was the head coach at the Next Gen Academy, so he does actually have a bit of coaching now. So Peps,
has he coached in the AFLX though? Because that's where his credibility would have had a bit of an increase if he'd dealt, if he'd been a captain of the Mustangs or something along those lines. No.
Peps,
not sure. Because
our show is it's quite a funny audience. I like our audience. I have a good laugh with them. With Peter Searle's leaving the club, it means that all 14 current AFLW coaches are now men.
Okay.
Anything about that? No.
There's nothing to see here.
Okay. All right. It's just an interesting point that I thought I'd bring up, Peps, because we are a show that caters for everyone.
For the job. It's the right person for the job.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make a point on that, Peps.
Simple as it gets.
Okay. All right. I can't wait till Aaron Phillips becomes a coach.
Don't try and start controversy, Jamie.
That's what I do.
You don't do it well. All right? Steve, leave it alone.
So, the 26 people have been appointed to the role, including Dustin, over 6 seasons. Just 3, Beck Goddard, Michelle Cowan, and Searle have been women. So, anyway.
What are you trying to aim at here, Jamie?
I'm just making a point, Peps.
What's your point? Is there not enough women? Do you think it's like sexist? Talk to me about it. Like,
no.
Look, keep going back to the well.
I wouldn't mind to see some more women in the league. That's all. In the coaching leagues. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, well, that's all you had to say. But don't try and start controversy. Maybe they just, like men, maybe they just weren't good enough at the particular job. I don't know. Maybe they wanted some fresh experience. I don't know. Just stop trying to create controversy where it doesn't need to be, all right?
It's what I like to do, Peps.
Yeah, but you're not good at it, Jamie.
All right, let's talk about it. West Coast failure.
Oh, wet toast. Can I just tell you something, though?
Sure.
I want to throw this out. Good on little fella who joins us on the chat and joins us as part of the show. Loyal viewer is Nick Milne-Surace. Now, he had a bad night Thursday night with the Saints going down to Carlton. But he's dropped in here up the Cougars. He's the assistant coach at East Keilor Football Club at the moment. It was a 1v2 game on the weekend, and they've won by over 100. Nicky Surace Milne, awesome job. He's the guy who literally spins the magnets every single week for the Cougars. He wasn't a bad little player, but he's making a very, very good career as an assistant magnet spinner for the Cougars, and he might have a premiership medallion hanging around his neck at the end of the year. So it's great to see him on the chat, and I said I'd give him a little bit of a shout-out tonight on the podcast. So there you go, Milne. That one's for you, my friend.
Yep. All right. Let's talk about West Coast very, very quickly. Very quickly. Where do you see them, Peps? Are they going to get far at all? Are they going to make it to the finals? Are they going to kind of fall out of the 8? What are you thinking? Because it was not just a small defeat; it was a 45-point defeat against Collingwood, and consider the first 8 goals of the game. West Coast.
Yeah, it's not good. There's not much I can say. Where are they sitting? They're sitting. They're a game and a half in. So they're lucky that they're a game and a half in.
Yeah.
That saying, though, they lose to Melbourne this week, it's going to make it very, very difficult to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
They win this week, they're probably going to play finals, but they're just going to be making up the numbers.
Yep.
Someone mentioned a few weeks ago, should we make the final 8 a final 6? I don't know whether they'd be stupid. Mm-hmm. I think this year's going to be the first year where your top 6 teams are going to be schmick, 7 and 8 are going to be average. Could you imagine if they then brought in the wild card weekend and teams 9 and 10 played off for a spot as well?
9 and 10 played off for a spot. How does it affect the
finals? The first 6 make it. 7, 8, 9 and 10 play for that last spot.
Right.
You can see it, but then you just get mediocrity.
Yeah.
I'd rather Essendon in than West Coast at the moment.
Yeah. If the Eagles do fall out of the 8, it's the first time they've missed the final since 2014.
So be it. But here's the other thing that...
what can you do? That's an amazing run. 6 years in the final.
When was the last time Geelong missed the finals? That's a run that you want to have a look at.
Yeah, Geelong is the absolute...
When was the last time the Swans missed the... last year.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. But outside of that, they've got an aging list. Their key positions at both ends are getting long in the tooth. They're going to be gone. I don't know. It's going to be a challenge for them. J-Dog, what's going on here?
What's happening?
Who is the hot bald dude?
Max King?
Someone by the name of Althea Maxwell has joined up on the chat, joined up and said, "Who is the bald hot dude?" Now I can tell you now, it's definitely not me. It's Jaden Stevenson's dad. Mate, you have got podcast groupies out there, J-Dog.
Well, thank you, Althea. That's very kind of you
to say that. They love me.
All right, Peps. Did we see the resurgence of Steele Sidebottom? He has been thrown up as a bit of Collingwood bait this season. For the getting into the draft a little bit.
What would you pay for him though? What would be the most you would pay for a Steele Sidebottom? It wouldn't be a first rounder.
Nah, mid.
It wouldn't be a high second round. You'd have to probably go mid to late second round.
Yeah, mid for me.
He's cream. He's cream. I'd love him. I'd have him at the D's.
Yeah,
because we need a bit of cream. We've got a lot of brash, but we need that little bit of finesse.
Yeah,
a little bit like what they did with Higgins and Smith last year at Geelong. He would be nice. Maybe goal kicker as well.
Maybe Althea's talking about Steele Sidebottom.
I don't think he is. No,
I think so.
No,
33 touches and a goal.
They've got a few that they can get rid of. Maynard's another one who hasn't signed on. He's waiting to see who the coach is going to be.
Yep.
He will be at Melbourne next year. That's been floated for quite a while. Jamie, how many weeks ago did I say Richmond will not make the 8? And I got laughed at.
You've said that from like round 6.
Yes. But then I went back on it about 8 weeks ago for about a week, and then I went back into it.
Correct.
I told you they will not make the 8. Too many injuries. The hunger's not there. And Maynard will be at the D's next year. I'm telling you now.
All right. Peps, that's what we're all here for.
All right.
Let's move on to the next thing. It's what we're all here for. It's what you want to talk about the most because you just decided to jump all the news stories until this one here.
Well, it was the biggest. Can you honestly tell me when you were sitting at home or at work or whatever you were doing,
Yeah.
and you get that message from your mate on the WhatsApp chat or the ding goes off and you read it and going, Clarkson gone. And you're like, what? Did you? What? How many times
Nope.
did you have to what?
Nope. In Caro, I trust.
Oh, bullcrap. The fact that he left stunned me, to be honest. I thought, I literally thought he would stay. But just goes to show
I said he would go. You said he would
show the
stay.
ego of Sam Mitchell.
I said he'd go.
I said he'd stay. Got that wrong. And all the people that had a crack at Caro saying that she was spreading rumours and false news, fake news, stick it up ya, because she was right. Now, they've made it. That's a massive call that they've made on this bloke.
Yeah.
Proven coach, being able to reinvent himself time and time again, 4 flags, and you're kicking him to the curb. That's right. You've kicked him to the curb, mind you, a couple of dollars in his back pocket, for an untried coach. I hope he turns into, I hope this occurs. I hope he becomes, as Simon Trops has said, Sam Neill Mitchell. That would be sensational. Buzz, the only reason why Clarko made the call is because they were offering him $1 million. He was a smart one. He played it to perfection. Okay.
The only difference
They
between
have been an absolute sham what Hawthorn have done.
the only difference between that one there is unless Lee's going to sit down and tell me at the pub how much Mark Neal's going to revolutionise the club on a Friday night drinking session. Sorry, Sam Mitchell will revolutionise the club. Remember that, Peps, in that conversation we had?
Just give me a
Mark Neal's going to take the players by the scruff of the neck and he's going to hit them between the eyes and it's going to be good for the club.
He'd say that. we all make a bad one. We all have a bad one.
I am prepared to give Sammy Mitchell a go. I just think that Clarkson has absolutely played it perfectly, and there's a couple of shaky knees over at the Carlton landscape world because that all has an impact now on the Carlton decision.
I reckon the decision's already been made at Carlton. But with Teague having a win on the weekend, which was a great win against St Kilda.
It was a good win.
Great win.
Hey, another cracking Friday night game though, Peps.
Carlton have the knack to kill coaches.
Yeah.
Just because they bring in a coach like that does not mean anything's going to change. And I think I said last week that he's had the best winning percentage out of any coach, probably in the last 6 coaches.
Yeah.
Outside of Wayne Britton, who was only did it for a little bit. But out of the main coaches that have had, he's got the best winning percentage. So I don't understand why you'd get rid of him for a coach who's been there less than 3 years. Good coaches come into their prime after probably 4 or 5 until he's got a team around him, the team that he's built. They're not playing that bad, Carlton. Yeah, they're a bit slack on the defensive side of things, but outside of that, they are not that bad. They're a sneaky chance to play finals. Sneaky chance.
Yes, with the win on the weekend. Yes, they are still a mathematical chance.
And the whole thing that they're not playing for the coach, I think that they played pretty well for their coach and for themselves on the weekend as well.
They did. So Peps,
I think they've chewed through Bolton. Mm-hmm. They chewed through Malthouse. Mm-hmm. They chewed through Pagan.
Rats.
Like Rats had the best percentage, and they brought in all these other ones. What do you think the coach is going to make a difference? It's a massive culture problem down there at Carlton.
Well, I think the mob's
we've tried
out the
to bring
door
in
now,
the
isn't it?
saviour, and it hasn't worked so many times. It's not going to work again.
All right, so we got Carlton, Collingwood, and Suns.
I don't know who I'd go to.
Okay, who would you go to?
I'd go to Gold Coast.
So Stuart, you out?
Yep.
Another coach they've just blown through, much the same as Carlton.
No.
Okay.
No.
Rocket Eade couldn't make it work up there.
Rocket Eade probably wasn't the right one.
Okay.
I think they almost need to have like a Craig Bellamy type of coach.
Isn't Rocket Eade like that sort of style? That between the eyes,
they need that really mentory type of style, the father figure to the players. That's what they need up there. And if you go up there, You have the aura of playing for Clarkson with King, Miller, Lukosius, Anderson, Rowell, Rankin when he gets a game again. Like they've got a young nucleus that could achieve something. They can. You've seen it. They haven't fallen off as much this year.
Mm-hmm.
Having someone like a Clarkson who wouldn't be under the bubble of Melbourne media, instantly bring people to that club.
Absolutely. And also, much like Sheedy and GWS, will bring high profile to that club up in the Gold Coast region as well.
Exactly right. And on top of that, there would be players who'd go, I'm not too sure. Clarkson? Might have a bit there. Yep. I reckon that'd be the best one for him.
And
I reckon it would.
And do you reckon there might be a bit of a sneaky open wallet, much like Paul Roos had when he went to Melbourne from the AFL?
Yep, and Paul Roos has worked, hasn't it?
For you guys?
That worked. Yep, that worked.
Yep, that worked.
Why not? Every club goes through it. You're still on the AFL take, so don't start.
Don't get defensive, Pep. You get so defensive about when talking about Melbourne.
About the money being thrown at Melbourne. Mate. There's more money being thrown at Port Adelaide.
You get so defensive.
Of course, I'm sick and tired of my club getting shot down by nuffies like you and people on the chat who I love tuning into the show every week. But there's other clubs out there that are doing a lot worse than us. St Kilda are stringing money from the AFL left, right and centre. GWS, Gold Coast, North, Western Bulldogs. Should I keep going? All these clubs taking money out year after year. You need to have some responsibility. And Melbourne finally pulled their finger out and did something about it.
It only took you 17 tin rattles over 17 years.
Tins, mate, and not one tarp was thrown on our chairs.
You guys asked money all the time.
I'll go pay TM. The 3 ATMs that mob had around the country. You know what, Craig Jones? Go eat your cheese and drink your wine, Peps. I will. The only time that you will actually be able to do that, Port Adelaide supporter, is either on day release or parole. So you just sit back and tell your bloody cellmate to shut up.
Peps, before we start having fights, everyone on the chat here, the show is coming wildly out of spin now because of you getting upset. Saints is my final team.
Yep.
Sneaky chance to lure Clarkson or not? Just throwing it out there, Peps.
Why would you go to St Kilda? They're a burden on the league. They're a burden on the league. You
just had a crack at everyone and now you're calling them the burden. They're
a burden on the league. They do nothing. Absolutely nothing.
He's got one more year he's got one more year at the Saints. Ratton has one more year of the contract. Not the first time that Saints have done this. They tipped out Walters. Walters? What's his name?
Grant Thomas?
No, Scott Walters.
Yeah, Scott Waters.
They tipped him out 1 year early.
Tim Watson? How many high profile coaches do they need?
Could they tip out Ratton and maybe make a move for Clarko? We're talking about the best coach.
Look at the list profile.
Yeah.
St Kilda have recruited for the now and it hasn't worked.
But that's what Hawthorn have done for the last 10 years.
Go where there's a future. Gold Coast.
That's what Hawthorn have done, though.
What?
They've just topped up their list and kept them fresh, kept them relevant.
Yeah, but they're not Hawthorn. They're far from Hawthorn.
I do agree with that. Look, it's just another thing out there. I'll chuck in there, Pep, see your idea on the Saints and whether they could maybe nab the coach of the last 15 years.
They can't afford him.
Okay. All right. Let's now. Is any other news, Pep, you want to talk about? No. Around the ground's done. Close the book.
Around the ground's done. Close the book.
All right. Let's talk about Splash the Cash. Go through
Splash the Cash. Yes, Splash the Cash. Now, we're going to splash some cash, but before we splash the cash, we have to get ourselves in the mood. Okay. To get us in the mood, we've got a bit of...
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Yeah, time to splash the cash. Contract news with the ching ching bling bling. CJ Pep 6 tracking another mix. Alrighty. So, contract news for this week. It's actually been a little bit light on, we must admit. Where shall I go to is this. Well, first of all, splashing the cash, Alistair Clarkson. He got a mil out of Hawthorn. Sucked in. Cha-ching. The Suns and Roos looking at Sam Wiedemann to support their forward line.
Like it.
I reckon he'll stay. But if they do go, I want a first rounder for him.
We got Benny
Carlton
now.
are
so
looking
doesn't
at
get
it. Carlton are looking at Chera for 750, 800 a year.
Still there,
I
are
don't
they?
know. Rob, he could be the new Zach Williams. Okay. Now the Swans apparently have got a bit of a squeeze on their salary cap at the moment. So watch this space for the following: Luke Parker, George Hewitt,
Yep.
Dawson, and Dylan Stevens are 4 players at the moment
Yeah.
that are being mentioned that because of the squeeze, especially Buddy's contract, 1.5 this year, looking at 900 next year.
Yep.
It's going to make it a bit hard for them to keep all these young guys, especially with people like Heaney, Florence, Papley's playing good footy, Logan McDonald. All these guys are going to try and keep. It's going to be a squeeze somewhere. So there's a potential to probably pick a couple of them out of the Swans this year.
Like it.
But outside of it, there hasn't really been much contract news at all.
No.
But with 3 weeks to go, you'll start to see probably some news, who's going to be leaving, who's going to be retiring, that sort of thing as well too.
And some coaching news as well will be coming out soon around assistants as well. They're coming out for the next end of the month.
Yeah, I think they have to give, what did I say? They have to do it by the second last round if they're going to keep them or not. They have to give them a month or so's notice before they can cut them. So stay tuned for some cuts. But I don't think there'll be that many because they literally had to cut them last year because of the soft cap slicing.
Yeah.
I can't see much more happening this year as well too, unless it is we're pulling him out and we're replacing him with someone like for like. I can't see many being cut and having a lot of rotation because there's just not that many jobs as there was 12 months ago.
Yep. Cool. All right, let's talk about some injuries, Peps.
There's the slash the cash.
All right, injury time.
Go for it. Yours, buddy.
Any music for my injury time or nothing for my show?
Pardon?
Nothing for my segment?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I like it. All right. So we've got a couple of clubs here. Essendon will be without captain Dyson Heppel and youngster Kyle Langford after the pair were injured during the Bombers game against Sydney on Sunday. Langford suffered a hamstring strain and is now expected to miss 3 weeks, while Heppel broke his left thumb and is expected to miss only a week. Carlton faces the prospect of playing the remainder of the season without a recognised ruckman, with a pectoral injury to youngster Tom De Koning further compounding the side's big man woes. Jack Silvani
his first ruck contest on the weekend?
Tell me about it, Peps.
He literally stood on had his knee up on his shoulder. He was that high.
Yeah.
I went to then get a second slice of pizza for Friday night pizza time. Came back, didn't see him for the rest of the game. Apparently, on peck.
Jackie Salvani stepped in there on Friday night.
He was right on Friday, didn't he?
54 contest after substituted. So, yeah, not bad. Just after halftime, we went into the ruck roll. So, good work.
Good.
Melbourne, Tom Forward will fly to Perth on Monday, but is a day-by-day proposition to play West Coast next week after suffering a back injury on Sunday. He was subbed out at three-quarter time, and I guess why not? You were 90 points up at the time, with 98-point flogging against the Gold Coast, so you may as well take it on. And that was the only sour note that saw Ben Brown and Luke Jackson kick those 4 goals.
I think a bit of I don't think spending 8 hours the day before, playing was probably the good preparation for him.
Yes.
Apparently it was just back stiffness. They took him off. There was no need to play him. The forwards are doing okay. If he's not right for this week, they can bring in Dorr, they can bring in Melksham, they can bring in Wiedemann as well too. The other one who might look a bit dodgy is Christian Salem as well. This one hasn't been mentioned. Bit of ice on the groin as well, might have a week off. So they've definitely got a lot of people in reserve to bring in if they need to, because they only used something like 26 players this year, so it hasn't been a lot. So there's plenty of movement in there. But yeah, against West Coast, having McDonald out there, because he actually plays quite well over there in Perth. Won a game off his boot with about 20 seconds to go a number of years ago. It'd be a shame because he's been in awesome nick this week. Awesome nick this year, and it'd be just a shame to sort of see him go backwards. So hopefully the back isn't too bad.
Yep. And finally, Greater Western Sydney captain Stephen Cogs faces an uphill battle. Maybe he might not play for the rest of the season because There has been complications with a rebuilt toe that ruled him out last week against Port. He required surgery early this year to repair an ankle and reconstruct that big toe, and has played a couple of matches in the VFL on it, but was a late withdrawal last week after experiencing some soreness in that big toe. So hopefully he gets up for the season or to play some games.
A buggered ankle and a reconstructed big toe.
Yeah.
You know the worst toe injury I've ever heard? A guy that I played footy with, Paul Butterworth, a few people in the chat would know him.
Yeah.
Used to be a strapper for a horse,
Right.
and the horse actually stood on his big toe, and it got crushed that much they had to amputate it.
No.
Yep. Big toe. Now he's a horse trainer
Jesus.
in Queensland.
Epic.
Yep, epic.
Peps, that brings us to the end of the injury. So let's dive straight into question of the week from last week, Peps.
What was question of the week last week?
Last week was nice and simple. What's the best pizza flavour? We had some great responses.
What is it?
Fantastic
we got the food
responses.
question back again, haven't we?
We have. Yep. So Corey Vandertucker said double bacon cheeseburger, which I think is a Domino's creation.
Yep.
Jamie Lara said the tandoori chicken from Crust. Flaming Josh said the margarita buffalo from Clay Oven Pizza in Kensington. It's a bit fancy. On your side of the town there, Peps. Nick from the Porches Podcast has said Hawaiian with chicken. It's the only way to feast.
Is that when they have pizza night, like once a month?
Hawaiian with chicken?
Yeah, pizza night in Royal Port Adelaide Prison.
Get stuffed. Andy Bridge said the wood fire pepperoni with shaved ham. James Pate said the fire breather, and it's a Domino's pizza, and that doesn't sound like a bad little wing. I don't mind a bit of a spicy pizza. JD McNair said pepperoni. Lee Moss said Mick and Mario's Aussie.
Mick and Mario. And
Good.
An East Keeler pizza. Hawaiian with prawns and mushrooms.
Hawaiian with prawns and mushrooms. Okay, all right. And Adam Walton has said the Mexicana. So I like it.
What do you like?
Look, I'm a classic. I'm a Hawaiian man with pineapple, of course, on a pizza. I like Hawaiian.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Or just the meat lovers, barbecue meat lovers. They're my two.
Oh yeah. What about a vegetarian with hot salami? A lot of people have those at the moment. I'm not joking.
What is that? Isn't that just cheese and hot salami?
It's a vegetarian pizza. So you have all the veggies, but then you get the hot salami on it.
Isn't that just a Supreme?
Supreme? That's what I thought, but no, it's not.
Okay, all right. Well,
Okay.
Peps, because we are on the food questions, I got another one this week, Peps. So the listener question this week is: what is the best, mint sauce or mint jelly?
So you're
Because
talking
this has-
so mint sauce or mint jelly? I don't call it mint jelly. I don't know what I call it, but you're talking about the one in the jar. You spray. Okay.
Correct. I'm talking about because when you have a bit of lamb, I love lamb and mint jelly, or lamb and mint sauce. Either way, depending on how you go. I was brought up on either the lamb and the mint. Now, the jelly has a very strong following. The mint sauce has its very own strong followings. I want to know what is best.
But so on your lamb, mint sauce or mint jelly?
Correct. Okay, so it's gonna divide some people and divide some households. I feel, Peps.
I definitely will. What are you, a jelly? Can I ask what you are?
Now, or you want to ask me next week?
Nah, just do it now.
I'm a sauce man.
I'm a jelly man. I'm a jelly man.
Mint jelly's too sweet.
Yeah, but mint sauce is not.
And you don't
actually
put
a sauce,
cold
it's
on
mint
hot.
water. It's
You don't
mint
put
water.
cold on hot.
Want to make a bet?
All right. 1 week at a time, Peps. Talk about the game we're looking forward to each this week.
Yes, 1 week at a time. So 1 week at a time. The game that we're looking forward to this week as we get into the last couple of minutes of this week's show. Look, J-Dog, it's going to be one of those interesting rounds because it's going to shape the finals again. And I'm just going to let you know what I mean by this. So
Okay.
you got the Geelong and Giants on Friday night. That's more for the Giants. Can they still make the 8? Potentially. But I can't see Geelong losing that one. All right?
No.
But if we start to move down a little bit, you've got Richmond are playing North. That's not going to be an easy game.
No.
You got the showdown this weekend as well too. Now the Saints play Sydney, so top team playing, team for the 8.
Yep.
Western Bulldogs play Essendon, top team for the 8. Dockers are playing Brisbane, same thing. Weagles are playing Melbourne. So there's a lot of those teams that potentially could cause some trouble at the top part of the 8 or sneak in as well.
Yes,
or
correct.
So I don't actually think if there's one game, I think there's 4 games that I'd be looking forward to this weekend.
Yeah, you're right. There are games that have implications at the top of the ladder, and also for those teams battling the 8. You are correct.
Exactly right. So they could shake up the apple cart at the top of the ladder, or derail their season for the rest of it. So it's going to be an exciting round. But if I had to pick one, I reckon the one that's going to get me a little bit excited, and I'm hopefully will be the Dockers versus the Lions.
Yeah, good one. Good one. Real good one.
Dockers win that, they're in. Dockers win, they're in. My way of looking at it.
And will Brisbane slide?
And continue Brisbane slide. Exactly right.
Yep. For me,
could Adelaide beat you? Could Adelaide beat you?
I'd hope not. God, I'd hope not. No, I don't think so. No,
I think so.
I think Port Adelaide. We're getting Robbie Gray back this week, so we're starting to get the troops back at the right time of the year, which is helpful because the holy three were sensational last week against GWS, and if we add Robbie Gray into that team as well, it's looking good. So I am looking forward to the showdown. Crows versus Port Adelaide in front of a crowd, maybe.
But it is going to be played, J-Dog. It is going to be played.
Right in front of me.
That's what's going to be played. It's going to be played right in front of me. Yeah, I reckon that's going to be a nice one as well too. But yeah, plenty of cracking games. We've got Monday Night Football is back.
Yeah.
Due to COVID. Hey, can I just quickly throw a quick shout out here to the AFL? They got completely screwed on Saturday, and to be able to swing everything like they did, I should have put that in. I should have put that into my my votes for this week. We give the AFL a lot of stick, but they were able to turn the season around on a dime on Sunday. So for the teams who were able to adjust, and also for the AFL on the grounds to get that all right, massive undertaking.
Yeah. Peps, let's just do our final little wrap up of the show. Quickly, thank you to everyone who has joined us today. We've got Charlie Keegan in the room with us. We've got Amanda Walters. We've got Buzz, who's always there. We had Lee Mack earlier. We've got
Maxwell. Yeah, Maxie was here. Rue Boy was in here. Trops was back again. So a lot of the old favourites. But if you've never joined us, 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. We're live on Facebook. Put a face to the beautiful voice you're listening to right now. And there's also Jamie. But join in. Get on the chat, be part of the show. That's what it's all about. We're a community here at Lace Out because we know it's how you want your footy.
All right. Peps, that's it for the show. We've gone through it all.
We've gone through it all. So it's a massive show. Look, we'll be back on Thursday night, our tipped out segment. Only 3 weeks of footy to go. So enjoy it for what it is. Hopefully after this weekend, we'll be able to go to the games and see our teams live, potentially for the last couple times for the season.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's going to be finals time, baby, and that's when the big boys come out to play. And J-Dog and I are the biggest in town, so stay tuned because we have got massive final previews coming up. Lots of things to just share with you. We can't wait for it. So we'll see you on Thursday night. Enjoy your footy. More importantly, J-Dog, how do you want your footy?
J-Dog. Sly Dog, J-Dog.
Sly Dog. You called Tom McDonald Tom McPlayer before.
No, did I? Oh,
but I'm not going to hold that against you.
No, it's fair enough. Peps, I like it lace out.
Have a great week, listeners. We'll see you on Thursday for Tips.
See you, listeners.
Take care.